I suffer for you.
Today's episode is made possible through the continuing support of Andrew Cole and dozens of other people just like you on Patreon. If you like what I do and you're interested in supporting it, check out the links below in the description to see how you can get involved. Thank you.
Hi there guys, I'm Chris Boden. Welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be working on Project ARchi, where we're going to be doing the J3 motor lead extension. So, to cook this particular dish, you're going to need some 18 gauge wire in red, black, blue, and green. You're going to need some heat shrink and your ferrule connectors. If you do it in my style, you can absolutely just solder these if you're one of those kind of people. But I'm one of the cool kids, and I'm doing it with my little ferrule crimp connectors. So it's really easy. This one's pretty quick and easy. And welcome to the new setup with different mojo. It all looks different, so just it's gonna be okay. If you're doing the ferrule crimps, you're gonna need your ferrule crimpers. These cool things. I love this tool. And I've got a label, but that's just how I roll. You can do the dots on the wire with the Sharpie if you want. I even brought some Sharpies down just for partying like that. So we're starting with our 18 gauge wire, and you're gonna need to trim these to 22 inches if you're in America, or 56 centimeters if you're in an intelligent country. So we're gonna cut these down. I'm just gonna do them individually right here. Okay, we got our 4 pieces of wire. Red, black, green, and blue are the flavors du jour. And then we're going to want to strip those to fit our ferrule connector. I'm also going to strip the motor leads as well, which are surprisingly also in red, black, green, and blue. So I'm going to do this with these crufty old things. They're Kleins, they're not too bad. Once you've experienced the love and joy of my good Nipex strippers, it's so hard to go back to these. These are the kind of strippers I used when I was a kid. When Grandpa gave me a toolbox, my grandpa and my dad got together and gave me a toolbox, and I was a little kid of just, basically it was a small collection of some of their old tools that they didn't use anymore. And it had one of those pairs, those terrible stripper crimper combo tools. They all look alike. Every major tool company makes one. They all look exactly the same, and they're all garbage. No matter who makes them, they all suck. Do I have one? I don't even know if I have one anymore, but they look like a big pair of pliers, and they've got like all the little holes are down in here, and up at this end, there's always a couple bolt cutters, and they're so bad. They're so bad. It's one of those ubiquitous tools, though, that everybody has one just knocking around. And most people don't know where the hell it came from. They just have it. It just appeared one day. I'm stripping 18 gauge wire in the 14 gauge hole because I'm a rebel. So we're going to do them in order. Start with red. Now we got to figure out what size we want for these. Now I've done videos on this exact process before in this series. So if you need real serious detail on it, go ahead, check it out. But this is a pretty simple process, and I'm relatively certain you've got a game plan on this by now, and you're going to do just fine. Yeah. So yellow or black? Doesn't really matter. We're not tight to fit anything. Let's try yellow and see if it do. Cut the end off. Make it round again. I'll do the first one, make sure we got all our sizes right, and then I'll take you through it step by step. Okay. Oh, that's lovely. Yep. Yellow will do it. Hold our ends together. Beautiful. All right, so we got everything worked out. We know our sizes. I'll cut 3 more of those, and I'll take you guys through it with me this time. Because I haven't done this in a while. It's been a couple months maybe. And it's one thing to know the process, but it's important to know exactly, like, okay, it's not just how to do it, but the right order of operations. And I do that with a lot of stuff. Do you? Like, there's a lot of things that I know how to do it, but if I haven't done it in a long time, because I tend to bounce back and forth between a lot of different things, I'd be like, all right, I know how to do drywall, right? But if I don't do drywall every day. I'm not a professional drywall guy. I'm not one of the cool kids. So it takes me a while when I go and do it for the first time. Like the whole first day is just screwy because you gotta remember, you gotta get everything set up. You gotta get all your tools together. You gotta remember how to do various steps. And by the end of it, you're just rocking. You're awesome. But the first day is just hell. Oh, we're doing black. So I have it trimmed, I have it stripped down like that. And the first thing I'm gonna do is figure out how long I actually want that to be. Now I've got my fitting. Now in my case, I trim off the little things. So one end is nice and round and the other is a little square where I've already trimmed it off. And now I want to slide it back through there. So I put the square end on the end of the wire and just slide it all the way up and then hold it in place. And then I'm gonna trim all the excess hanging out the end of that. Being careful not to crimp the connector itself. Okay, because that's easy to do with the cutters. You wanna get it nice and flush and clean. And then, let me slide this over so I can get that in there. All right, so now we know this is too long. So we're gonna eyeball that, figure out where we want it. It's about there. So now we're cut down to length on everything. And then all you gotta do, you can see there really isn't a lot of room in there, but we're gonna slide this right in there alongside it. And it will go, but you got to have everything twisted down tight together. See, you doubted me, but we got it in there. So now is the moment where you take a second and regret not having slid your crimpers all the way up first. So I'm going to take that off, put my crimpers on there. And now I get to balance the weight of the heavy crimpers with the thing. And they're super reflective, so this doesn't come out on camera as well as I'd like it to. we get to do that all over again, because if I did it once, I can do it twice. All right, and then we just crimp it all together. There, try and get that glare out of there for you. Crimp it all together. And then we give birth to a beautiful baby fitting. Look at that. That's exactly what I'm going for, that look. And then we'll tug test it, nice and tight. And then we just do the exact same thing all over again 2 more times. So this time, I'm gonna go with green. So first thing you do is you're gonna start out and your wire is gonna be all splayed out like that. So just pinch the end, give the wire a twist. You want a nice tight bundle like that, okay? You want to trim it down to the length of the fitting here. And in my case, the length of the fitting is, I don't know, just about 1 centimeter. So that's trimmed off. Spin it down because we got a flyer on that. Make sure if you get a flyer, that's a flyer. Like when you put it on, if one doesn't go down the tube, you'll get a little flyer. So trim that off. There we go. So now it's all nice and clean. And then take a minute and make sure they're all twisted together, parallel, helically parallel is what I'm going to go with as a term for that. And then we're going to check the other one, which you can just hold up next to the first, because the tube is the same length no matter which end you measure it from. I cut the skinnier wire, focus for me. I cut the skinnier wire just a little bit shorter because you don't get any points for having wire hanging out the end of the thing. So we can drop this on here, and I'm going to put the square end that you cut off goes onto the wire because you want the biggest, bestest hole you can get on this end. Then be smart and put the crimp tool on first and just get it roughly lined up, because you can hold the crimp tool up with your hand like that. The downside is it gives us a hell of a reflection. So I'm going to turn it off at a screwy angle like that so that you can actually see what I'm doing here. I suffer for you. And then we're going to run this down in the hole. Just like that. Just kind of wiggle it in there. Okay, so we're all in the hole, we're good. Then we're going to give it a big squeeze. And the little oculus closes. Pull it out. Tug test pass, it's good, that's 3. So now you know how to do this. You've got this. I'm going to do it one more time, just for fun, and because this won't work with 3 wires. So that one's all twisted down nice. Same thing. You start with a flayed cable like that, and we're going to bring all those strands into helical parallel alignment. Then we'll grab our tube. That should just drop right on. Cut it just off the end of the tube. Now we're going to grab our other wire. Cut that just like an 1/8 inch short, like just a couple millimeters. Okay. Grab our crimpers and see, my first one of these was really clumsy and really crufty, but by the time you get to the end, you're like, yeah, I got a system for this. You start to figure it out. Imagine people that do 1,000 of these a day in a factory. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Boom. That's lovely. Open it up, slide it out. Boom, there's all 4. So now we have 4 beautiful. Isn't that so much prettier than just soldering. Doesn't it look so much better? Like, I like soldering. It's a skill I've recently developed, and I don't suck at it, which is pretty cool. It's a relatively recent thing for me to be able to say that. But I like, for this application, I like this better. Now, let's see how well this will work. Okay, that's plenty big. Can I go? No, I can't go any smaller. So we've got red, blue, green, and black. I have shrink wrap in all of the colors I need right there. So we're gonna actually get to shrink wrap this in matching colors, just to be festive for spring. So we're gonna grab that, slide that right on down, turn a heat on. Now, you may ask yourself, is he going to get us the sexy, sexy camera shot of actually heat shrinking that in super close up? Oh my God, you may be wondering that. And the answer, of course, is yes. So I'm gonna make sure I'm centered on my thing. And here is how heat shrink works. Oh, look at that. Is that cool or what? I may derive an irrational amount of fun from things like heat shrink and hot glue, but I'm a guy who likes to make stuff, so that's okay. There's nothing wrong with getting a giddy, silly, childlike wonder out of things like just digging a hole in the yard or hammering nails into a stump or whatever, playing with heat shrink. Like, this is just fun. We're making stuff, and it's okay to have that make you happy. This makes me happy. This is what I like to do. Like, I don't make videos about making stuff because I don't make stuff because I wanted to make videos about making stuff. I make videos about making stuff because I like making stuff. And part of what I like making is videos because I like teaching stuff. And it really all boils down to a very simple concept. When you're in love, you want to tell the world about it. And I'm in love with making stuff. I'm in love with projects and engineering and science and technology. And that's my passion. That's my thing. And I like sharing this with people, which is why I make these videos. Just because it's fun. It's not cool. If I want to make cool videos, I'd be out like drifting my car or whatever the cool kids are doing these days. But I'm a guy who celebrates, like today is 420. It's April 20th as I'm recording this video. And you know how I celebrated 420? I bought 2 big ass buckets of joint compound. Because that's how I roll. All right, we shrink that one down, and that's the whole set. That's so nice. I'm really happy with that. So now we got all 4 of them on there. That's the J3 motor extensions. So that wraps us up for that. These might get sleeved in the future. I don't know, but they don't get sleeved at this step. The next step, we're going to be getting into encoder fun. But for now, that completes this whole video. You have now made 4 beautiful joints. Look at that. 4 beautiful, clean, color-matched joints. Ah, yeah. Everything that you've seen me use on here, you can find in the links below in the description for the Amazon store. It's all easy stuff to do. The last step I'm going to do here is give these a little twist, just for neatness. And then I'm going to put a label on them that'll tell us that these are the J3 motor leads, because you guys got me a fancy label maker, so I'm using it. But you can absolutely just put some dots on here with a Sharpie marker and that would be fine. Personally, I believe that there's no engineering like over-engineering, so why not have a badass custom printed label on there? So we're cool. That's it for that episode. Thank you guys for hanging out. I do appreciate you joining me on this project. Have fun, and as always, I'll see you next time.